Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So we're back in the Magic Towers resort map, as you can see, and this is a site that, will just never get old. I'm pretty happy with just how large this entire map is so far and how much more we're going to be expanding it. In this episode as well, because we're gonna get quite a bit done, I think, for this episode. As you'll probably know, I record these intros after I already built. I just go back to the save where I didn't build it yet. Before we get started, I might actually, talk a little bit about what we're gonna be doing for today. So in this episode, we're gonna basically start with the entire entrance area for the water park. So we'll get some changing rooms in, we get a restaurant in, a few things like that. And basically the start of where the actual pool is going to be, which I currently have planned to be right around here somewhere. And that way we have space enough on the backside basically to connect up to the backstage area and basically make that the end of our water park. And then we can kind of expand out in this direction or in this direction. We'll have to see where we end up, but for this episode we're just going to be focusing on the entrance mostly. So I'm pretty excited. So let's actually jump into time lapse. Welcome back to Magic Towers Mystic Lagoon. Alright, so in the last episode we obviously kind of worked on the entrance of the water park, but also the parking lot. But for this episode, we're just gonna basically continue with what we got so far. Now, you might notice that my episodes have been a little bit shorter than usual, especially the water park series so far, and I think we're gonna continue doing that for a little longer. Just slightly shorter episodes at a slightly lower frequency, I suppose. Just because it's pretty hard to get these videos out now that I have a full-time job on the side as well. So I hope you guys just appreciate when I do actually have a video ready, as I will not be able to continue making this a weekly thing anymore, as I've already kind of talked about in the last episode. However, though, I am really happy with being able to be working on the park again, because to be quite honest, it's been 2 weeks again, and at that time, it starts to itch again. You want to work on it again. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Now, one very big reason why we can still continue making this series is, of course, because of our patrons. And I just want to thank all my patrons that are currently supporting me and have been supporting me ever since they started supporting me on Patreon. It's really amazing. I hope you guys enjoy the extra content that you get, and I certainly do very much enjoy the extra support that I get from that. And it's very helpful, and it's been able, to support the series throughout, this entire project. Now, what I first built there, just to stay on topic real quick, is the merchandise store for this entire water park. So I'll have one on the other side as well, but this is just one of the two souvenir shops that will be inside of this water park, where you can just buy some merchandise, maybe some swimwear as well, in case you forgot it, or, it got broken somehow. You usually see this at water parks. You'll have some stuff, especially things like sunscreen and things like that. People tend to forget it all the time, and it's very important when you go to a water park, especially in a warmer climate, that you do actually have some sunscreen, of course, because otherwise you're going to be in for a really bad time, usually the day after. So here in the center I wanted to build some kind of restaurant. Again, a restaurant that had like a really cool view, because I always like that. So what I decided to do is basically make this rocky spire inside of this jungle swampy kind of area, and basically a completely circular restaurant that sits around this spire. It's very reminiscent of some of the scenes that you might see in Star Wars, which is also what this entire area is kind of loosely based on as well. Things like Star Wars and Avatar. I think this is going to be a really cool restaurant where you can just sit down and have something to eat while enjoying the views of the water park itself, whether that be you sitting on the side of the monorail and being able to see the monorail pass by every now and then, or being able to see the actual pool and all the theming that sits around it. I think that's going to be a really awesome location to be eating at. So that's definitely why I want to get that in here, basically. It also serves another purpose, and that's kind of, it's kind of blocking the way. Because when people get inside of the water park, as opposed to a theme park, there is something that people need to do first before they can actually, go and experience the entire water park. And that is the changing rooms. Now, you don't really want the changing rooms to be directly behind the entrance, in a way like a lot of pools do, where you basically have to change to even get inside of the pool area. You don't want that for water parks, because people might want to get dressed, to get something to eat inside of the park again. So you need to give that a little bit of freedom. And because of that, you want your changing rooms to basically be somewhere where they can just freely go in and out, whether they are, clothed or not, basically. Now, that also gives us another opportunity, and that's because we can actually split up the crowds a bit more over the different changing rooms, because the changing rooms can get pretty busy. So what you might want to do is both on the left and the right have changing rooms, and depending on which side of the entrance they walked in, they'll basically naturally kind of walk the right way to a changing room where they can get changed. And that way we kind of split the crowds, we direct the audience to the right location pretty much naturally, because they'll just be following the largest paths and the kind of the shape of and the curves of the path as well. So that's really going to help to kind of, navigate the crowds through this area, and get them to the changing rooms if they want to go there, without actually restricting people from, going to the merchandise store after they got changed, or going to the restaurant after they got changed. So yeah, quite a lot of thought that went into that. And this is also something that I really, kind of learned when I went to the water parks in the United States as well, where I definitely noticed how they were tackling that kind of issue. And it was very interesting to see, and I definitely took note, which is why I'm trying to apply that, or at least trying to apply those strategies to this water park as well, because that's something I think that really helps set the realism as well. Where I might naturally otherwise probably went with a more pool-like situation, where you might have to get dressed to even get inside of the pool area, basically being forced through the changing rooms before you get to it. So yeah, that's something that's really quite fun and interesting, that I just thought a bit about how to actually tackle that and how I wanted to achieve that, and I think that turned out pretty well. Now for the monorail, I just want to theme that a little bit more as well, so I'm kind of changing up the support structure there, just to kind of fit within the more sci-fi kind of theme, which again is a very new theme for this entire Magic Towers resort. We haven't done that before, so I think this is going to be really quite interesting as we continue building this. And as you can see, this is mostly just a sci-fi inside of a jungle type of theme that we're going for. And that's going to be the theme that you'll be seeing for the most part throughout this area. We might have some, smaller changes with sub-areas and things like that, but that's like the general theme that we're gonna try to showcase. And we'll build a story around that as we go along, especially once we build some of the story elements of this park in a theming matter as well. Now onto the changing rooms. So now that we have gotten to a certain point at the path, I'm now actually building the changing rooms. That way, there's a little bit of distance between the entrance and the changing rooms. That's, just gonna help to prevent any blockage, people getting stuck somewhere because people are waiting for the changing rooms or something like that. This is just to make sure that there's a pretty large buffer in front of the changing rooms to possibly accommodate for some kind of a queue, or allow for people to still walk around freely to another changing room somewhere else inside of the water park, in case this one is actually too crowded, which definitely happens with changing rooms. And this is also why you will find quite a lot of changing rooms at various different locations inside of a water park. One example that comes to my mind is Volcano Bay, which has changing rooms all around the main pool, basically, even though the entrance of the entire water park is very much on one side. Regardless, you can change on the other side of the water park if you want as well, and that's really just to help with those crowds and kind of disperse them a little bit more. So yeah, you can really kind of see these hints that I'm taking from Star Wars, where we, you know, take some of these more modern sci-fi type of ideas with a lot of metal and stuff like that, and kind of combine them with the natural materials that you might find inside of a jungle area, which I think is pretty much the way to go for this type of theme. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Now, of course, you want to make sure that all the sightlines are right, and we want to make sure that we got backstage areas. So in this case, I would imagine this to be some kind of a building for the cleaners, especially since this is right next to the changing rooms. I would suppose that there will be some cleaning supplies there, and that's where the cleaners can come from and clean up the changing rooms whenever that's needed. So yeah, it's a bit of a shorter episode today again, and we're almost at the end already. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I'll try to make them a little bit longer the next time though, as this is really quite short. But I hope you guys still enjoyed it. I think we got quite a lot done actually, with a lot of little details. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just let me know in the comments what you think, and if you have any other ideas as well. Now do make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.